That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Namaste and welcome to the Vedanta Center of Greater Houston and our Saturday meditation class, which we have on the last Saturday of every month. So before we begin the guided meditation with the chant and then the instructions, let me say a few words, as I usually do, on meditation. So there are various ways of thinking of meditation. And in the meditations we've done so far, the emphasis is on being here now, that is, being present. That is, when we do the exercise which we've been doing and which we will do today also, of focusing on the body and just holding the image of the body in the mind. The reason for that, of course, is not that we're trying to emphasize the body. We're using the body as an anchor to hold the mind in the present moment, here and now. And so today I'm going to introduce mantra meditation on top of that. But we'll begin in the usual way with the usual series of steps, introductory steps, including focusing on the body in order to focus the mind or bring the mind, anchor the mind in the here and now. But then we will begin to do japa, repetition of a mantra, trying to keep that sense of being present here and now with the repetition of the mantra. As I will say when I get to the instructions at that point of the meditation, I will speak in terms of Om, which is a universal mantra, the mother of all mantras. But those of you who have a mantra that you use, you can use that. And that includes if anyone uses like the name of Jesus as a mantra, as taught in the Way of a Pilgrim. So it can be whatever mantra you use, and if you don't use a mantra, then you can just use Om. Again, I'd say just use Om as if that were the default. It's not a default, it itself is a great mantra, the mother of all mantras. But since everyone knows it, nowadays, even in Western countries, that those who don't use a mantra can use Om. So again, as I said, there are several ways of thinking of meditation. One way is to think of it as concentrating all of the rays of the mind, bringing them together. Another way is to think of absorbing yourself in the idea of your meditation. And another way is what I've already talked about, that is holding your mind in the here and now. Those are not three different contradictory ways. They're not thinking of meditation in different ways. They're different perspectives on the same general point. For instance, bringing all of the rays of your mind together in concentration, that is really nothing but putting the mind in the here and now. To bring the mind in the here and now, because again, that's what I've been emphasizing in the recent meditation classes and what I will emphasize today. In the future, we will emphasize other points in order to give a fuller picture of meditation. But when emphasizing bringing the mind into the here and now, I find here, as in many things in spiritual life, in meditative life, the educated imagination is very helpful. Educated means just imagining on the basis of a truth, and not just imagining because I like to imagine all kinds of wild things. So imagining on the basis of a truth. And so it helps me. It may not help you, but if it does, I offer it. But think of it as an example of how you can use your imagination in such a simple exercise as trying to bring the mind into the here and now. Simple to explain, difficult to do. So when you find that the mind has been wandering all over, thinking about different things, and you catch yourself, then I find it helpful just to think of sort of bringing my mind back to the here and now. The mind has been all over. So thinking figuratively, because it feels like the mind is running all over the place. I catch myself, say, no, I'm supposed to be right here. So like bringing up, wrapping a blanket around the rays of the mind and bringing it back to right here and right now in full awareness. So like that, if an image, if a process or something comes to mind that is helpful in the meditation process, in this or other exercises, you can experiment with them. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually very helpful. One of my teachers, one of my upa gurus, subsidiary gurus, he taught me many things. But the one thing that helped me the most, that was sort of behind all of his teaching, was that spiritual life is a quest. You're on a search. You're seeking. And so to think of your meditation and other practices as seeking the divine, seeking God, seeking the self, however you think of it, but you're trying to get to that. And so when you think in those terms, and when you're meditating, you're trying to work with the mind to bring it into focus, bring it into the here and now, bring it into concentration, bring it into absorption in an idea. And so whatever helps in that process. The problem, one of the problems in meditation is a universal problem. Everyone has it, except for a perfected meditator, is distraction of the mind, where the mind thinks of everything else but what it's supposed to think of. And so again, if you have an idea of, no, every time I catch the mind away, let me gently bring it back and put it right here. And this is where I'm seeking. This is what I'm trying to peer into. Then that keeps practice like a mantra practice or a visualization, whatever you do, it keeps that from becoming as mechanical as it tends to be. If you think of it as a seeking, you're trying to peer into whatever it is that you're meditating on, the center of the focus of your meditation, and you're trying to go deeper and deeper into it, trying to understand trying to peer beyond the surface of it. So with all of that explanation, let us begin the meditation. And as always, I will, one thing I wanted to say, because at the end of the meditation, we won't have announcements or questions or anything like that. Some of you perhaps have signed up for a course on mantra meditation. I just wanted to mention that there is a course on mantra meditation beginning next week through the Vedanta Life Academy, which I will be teaching. And if you're interested, I'm sure Chaya can share information with you. It's through the Vedanta Society of San Diego, organized by Swami Atmarupananda in San Diego. So it'll be a 6 weeks course on mantra meditation. So if you're interested in mantra meditation, that will be a possible resource for you. So back to the guided meditation. As always, I will give the instruction. So listen to the instruction first, and at the end of the instruction, then try your best just to follow what it is that I have instructed. So with that, I'll give a beginning chant and we'll begin the meditation. Om Ardram Jvalati Jyotiraham Jyotir Jvalati Brahmahamasmi Yohamasmi Brahmahamasmi Ahamasmi Brahmahamasmi Ahamevaham Mam Juhomi Swaha. Melting into the light, I am the light that shines. The light shines, the light which is Brahman. That which I am is nothing but Brahman. I exist, and I exist as Brahman. I myself offer myself into the infinite light, which is myself. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Om peace, peace, peace be unto us all. Let us begin the meditation by taking 4 deep breaths, breathing in deeply, exhaling completely, holding the breath out of the body for a moment or two at the end of the exhalation, beginning again, doing that 4 times in order to calm the body and mind, and in order to bring the mind into the present moment. So again, breathe in deeply, exhale completely, hold the lungs empty for a moment or two, begin again doing that 4 times. And now let us use the breath as a vehicle for sending out thoughts of goodwill towards all beings, remembering that in the welfare of others lies our own welfare, and that in the ability to establish a deep sense of harmony with all that exists lies the freedom of mind to turn within in meditation. Because as long as we feel that our deeper relationship with the outer world is broken, part of the mind will be obsessed with fixing that which it feels should be continuous, inside and outside one reality. Let us remember that we can never hope to establish perfect social harmony because of the different interests and desires of and the basic self-centeredness of living beings. But what we can do is have a general sense of harmony with all that exists, even in the presence of social disharmony, which we can see as merely waves on the surface of a deeper harmony. So to establish that deep sense of harmony with all that exists, let us think as we breathe in that we are filling ourselves with goodwill, charging ourselves with goodwill, and we can think to ourselves the word goodwill as we breathe in. And here also, as I said in the introductory remarks, you can use your imagination to help. For instance, if someone is devoted to someone like the Holy Mother, who is the embodiment of love for all beings, then you can think of her seated in your heart as you breathe in, and that you are charging yourself with the goodwill which she is radiating. And then as you breathe out, you can send that goodwill out in all directions towards all beings everywhere, without hesitation and without restriction, with words such as, may all beings everywhere realize what is good. So whatever imagination helps in the process, you can use that. I gave one example. But again, the essence of the exercise is think the word goodwill as you breathe in, charging yourself, filling yourself with the power of goodwill, and then breathe that goodwill out in all directions towards all beings everywhere, without hesitation, without restriction. May all beings everywhere realize what is good. And now let us turn our attention to the physical body in order to refine our sense of physical awareness. The sense of the body is always with us. And yet the sense of the body we have is crude and gross. We have to refine it, make it more subtle, before the body becomes an instrument of meditation and not an obstacle as it normally is. And so in order to foster that refinement, making the body a subtle and responsive instrument for meditation, for the practice of meditation, let us think of each part of the body, starting from the toes and working up part by part to the top of the head. Picturing each part in the mind's eye as pure, perfect, and full of light, no matter what its actual condition might be. Picture it as pure, perfect, full of light, going from the toes up gradually to the top of the head. After coming to the top of the head, picture the whole body at once as pure, perfect, full of light, as a God-given instrument for the realization of truth in this very life. So again, start from the toes, picture each part of the body, part by part, as pure, perfect, full of light, going up gradually into the top of the head, and then picturing the whole body at once as pure, perfect, full of light, a God-given instrument for the realization of truth in this very life. After coming to the top of the head, once again, briefly scan over the body, looking for any remaining points of tension, such as tightness in a muscle or a joint. Send the light of your awareness to any such area, bathe it, as it were, in the light of your awareness, and feel that it is, by an active act of imagination, feel that it is coming into harmony with the rest of the body, that it is relaxing and relaxing into the sense of the rest of the body, and then return to the contemplation of the whole body at once. Try to experience the body, try to feel the body as one harmonious field or system of energy, not as a solid, heavy material object as normally we feel it to be, but try to feel it as one harmonious field or system of energy. That is, when we're not looking at the body, when the eyes are closed, we have a sense of the body's presence, whereby we can directly feel the crown of our head and the small of our back, areas which we cannot see directly with the eye ever, but we can feel them directly. From the head to the toes, we can feel the whole body. That sensation of the body's presence that we feel when the eyes are closed is the direct experience of the body as a field or system of energy, the energy of sensation, an almost vibratory feeling of the body's outline. But normally we superimpose the ideas of the body's materiality, heaviness, etc., on top of that direct experience of the body as a field of sensation. So try to feel it just as sensation. Wherever you feel any special points of pressure, such as your feet on the floor, seat on your chair, hands on your lap, try to experience such points of pressure as simply concentrations of energy in the general field of energy, which is the body. That is, don't interpret the sensation as my solid feet pressing against the solid floor. Just feel it as sensation, as a concentration of sensation, but without any definite boundary, blending back into the general field of energy, which is the body, the field of sensation, which is the body. And in that way, you can come to the point where you feel practically weightless and floating. And now for a few minutes, let us just hold the awareness of the whole body at once, that field of sensation in our awareness. Just be aware of the whole body at once as a field of sensation, using the sensation of the body to anchor us in the here and now. And whenever we find the mind wandering away, gently bring it back to the sensation of the body's presence, which is always here and now. minute ago, I mentioned bring your mind or keep your mind fixed on the sensation of the body, which is always in the here and now. Well, of course, any experience you have had, you can call it up in memory. But note how if you try to remember the sensation of the body from the past, it immediately merges into the present sensation of the body. And so that's what I mean by the sensation of the body always being in the present moment. If you try to remember what that felt like a minute or two ago, you're immediately merged back into the present moment. The sensation of the body's presence, the field of sensation, which is the body, here and now. And now, not forgetting the sense of being in the here and now, which this focusing on the outline of the body brings, let us add into that the element of the mantra. So as I will instruct, when you begin to repeat the mantra, you can go back and forth between recalling the sensation of the body and repeating the mantra within that sensation, so that you're continually brought back to the present moment, so that the japa, the repetition of the mantra, is happening in full awareness here and now. Yes, the practice will become mechanical oftentimes. And yes, the mind will run away and refuse to cooperate and think about other things. Know to expect that. Don't be disturbed by that. But if you develop the sense of being in the here and now, even occasionally, if you get that sense, even for a few moments, you have something to turn back to. When you discover that the mind has wandered away or the practice has become purely mechanical and you're not paying attention, then bring the mind back into the here and now. You can focus it again on the outline of the body, the sensation of the body's presence. And then within that sensation, begin to practice japa again. And as you practice japa, gradually your mind will turn more and more towards the mantra, and the sensation of the body will get less and less. That also is okay. But when the mind has wandered away completely, bring it back first to the sensation of the here and now, and then generate the repetition of the mantra within that. So, as I said in the introductory remarks, you can use any mantra that you are accustomed to using, but I will speak in terms of Om for ease of explanation. And those who don't use a mantra can, for this exercise, use Om, which is reality itself. It's the personal God and it's the impersonal absolute. And it is the mother of the universe. The whole world has come out of the sound Om, the word which was in the beginning, which was with God and which was God and is God. So again, feeling the sensation of the body's presence, the field of energy which is the body. Feel that within your heart, within that field of sensation, that the mantra rises in a fountain of sacred sound. Om, 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 Om. Find a speed of repetition which is comfortable. It doesn't matter whether it's fast or slow, but it shouldn't be so fast that you can't pronounce it correctly. It shouldn't be so fast that it just becomes a blur. But find a speed. The speed, again, is not important. Find something that is comfortable. And think that that sound is rising from the depths of your heart, rising like a sacred fountain of sound, bathing your entire being in its sacred vibration. And again, feeling that your body itself is a field of energy, which means it's a field of vibration, because energy is expressed in vibration. And the mantra is vibration. It's easier when you think that way to feel that the sound of the mantra is purifying your entire being. As we'll see as we study further, there are various ways you can think of the mantra, various ways you can use the mantra. But for a particular practice, we have to settle on one simple way. And so for now, just think of the mantra as the sound of God, the sound of the divine self that rises from the depths of your heart, not the anatomical heart, but the lower center of your chest, in a sacred fountain of sound. And just try to bathe your mind and your body in that sacred fountain of sound, feeling that the sound itself is purifying and transforming your mind and your body. If you can recite the mantra purely mentally, that's well and good, but that's quite difficult. Most will find it much easier to move the lips and tongue, not uttering it out loud, but moving the lips and tongue as if you were saying it out loud. So if you need to do that, that's perfectly all right. Most people do need to do that in order to have the pronunciation of the mantra, even within the mind. Again, whenever you find that the mind has wandered away, feel the sensation of the body's presence. Bring your mind back to that. Anchor it in the here and now. And then within that, imagine that the sound of the mantra is rising from the depths of your heart, even though you are repeating it. Imagine that it's repeating itself, rising from the depths of the heart in the here and now. Now, in closing the meditation, I will chant the Gayatri mantra. First, I'll give the translation, then chant it 3 times, and then the translation again. And then there will be the final closing step. We meditate on the effulgent glory of that luminous being who has projected all the worlds. May that illuminate our hearts. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. We meditate on the effulgent glory of that luminous being who has projected the worlds. May that illuminate our hearts. Om. Now offer the fruits of your meditation to the divine, however you think of it, for the welfare of all beings. Now I'll give a closing chant and translation. And after that, I will just turn off my screen. Again, after the meditation class, we don't want to disturb the meditation by questions and answers. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. That infinite reality is full, perfect, and complete. This relative universe is full, perfect, and complete. From out of the fullness of that infinite being, the fullness of this universe has come. And yet that being remains ever the same. Oh, peace, peace, peace be unto us and to all the beings of the universe.